Amen.
Okay, I need silence. How's everybody doing this morning? So, folks on the screen, let me get this Goddard card off of here. You guys can't see this, but we have, how about now? Okay, so I can't give you the computer, or it'll attack me. There's one. It's working. Jim, I know you're busy. So Jim's a little busy today. Yeah, but can you guys on the screen hear us and everything? Tom? Can you talk? Is he talking? Can you see on the screen?
She's calling on you, Tom.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you ready, Wendy?
Yes. Everybody thank Jim for allowing us to do this morning. We broadcast. So we're going to stop at 8 o'clock this meeting today, and we're going to go into a mastermind here at Dealmaker 2020. And if you choose to witness the mastermind, you're more than welcome to stay online. It'll also be recorded, but stay online because it's going to be awesome. Or you can leave whenever you want, but if you leave, you're a loser. Anyway. So, Tom, would you like to get us started with the devotional this morning?
Absolutely. Good morning, guys, and welcome to those who are in the mastermind group this morning. I had no idea this morning that we would have a crowd in another city there to put all of their thoughts and minds together and be able to come up with entrepreneurial ways to help and assist those who live in our country. The date I'm going to throw out this morning is April the 15th. And anytime any of us hear April 15, we kind of tighten up because we know that's the government day. That's when Armageddon normally will happen. But I want to share another thought on something that happened on April 15th. On April 15th, 2022, it will be the 110th anniversary of the sinking of the ship Titanic. I just want to read some of this to you. It has been 112 years since Titanic, the greatest ship of its time, sank on its maiden voyage, killing more than 1,500 passengers. The unsinkable ship had done just that. And on the tragedy, we stand captivated by the story. Many movies, documentaries, and books have familiarized us with some of the passengers, such as entrepreneur John Jacob Astor IV, or the unsinkable Molly Brown. Yet one of the supreme stories of the Titanic involves a heroic pastor and his passion to save lives and souls. I want you to listen to this because it brings tears to my eyes every time I read it. When pastor and preacher John Hopper and 6-year-old daughter boarded the Titanic, it was for the privilege of preaching at one of the greatest churches in America, Moody Church in Chicago, named for its famous founders, Dwight L. Moody. The church was anxiously waiting his arrival, not only because of the invitation that they sent, but he was an engaging preacher and had pastored 2 churches in Glasgow and London. His preaching style was suited for an evangelistic, as testified by his words of another local pastor. He was a great open-air preacher and could always command large and appreciative audience. He could deal with all kinds of interruptions. His great and intelligent grasp of the Bible truth enabled him to successfully combat all assailants. When the Titanic hit the iceberg, Hopper successfully led his daughter to a lifeboat. Being a widow, he may have been allowed to join her, but instead forsook his own rescue, choosing to provide the masses with one more chance to know Christ. Hopper ran person to person, passionately telling others about Christ. As the water began to submerge the unsinkable ship, Harper was heard shouting, women, children, and the unsaved into the lifeboat. Rebuffed by a certain man at the offer of salvation, Harper gave him his own life vest, saying, "You need this more than I do." Up until the last moment on the ship, Harper pleaded with people to save their lives to Jesus. The ship disappeared beneath the deep, frigid waters, leaving hundreds of floundering in its wake with no realistic chance for rescue. Harper struggled through hypothermia to swim to as many people as he could, still sharing the gospel. Many people, Harper eventually would lose his battle with hypothermia, but not before giving many people one last glorious gospel witness. 4 years after the tragedy of a Titanic survivor meeting in Ontario, Canada, one survivor recounted his reaction with Harper. In the middle of the icy water on the Atlantic, he testified he was clinging to a ship debris when Harper swam up to him, twice challenging him with the biblical invitation to believe in the Lord Jesus Christ, and thou shalt be saved. He rejected the offer once, yet given the second chance, and with miles of water beneath his feet, the man gave his life to Christ. Then as Harper succumbed to his watery grave, the new believer was rescued by a returning lifeboat. As he concluded his remarks at the Ontario meeting of survivors, he simply stated, "I am the last convert of John Harper." When the Titanic set sail, there were delineations of 3 classes of passengers. Yet immediately after the tragedy, the White Star Line in Liverpool, England, placed a board outside the office with only 2 classes of passengers reading, known to be saved and known to be lost. The owner of the Titanic had simply reaffirmed what John Harper already knew. There are people who know Christ and will spend eternity with God in heaven, and many others who will not. For this 110th year after the Titanic, may we be as zealous as Harper was with every opportunity to share Christ, with the perishing. Jesus says, he said, if you want to be my disciple, you must by comparison hate everyone else, your father, your mother, your wife, your children, your brothers, your sisters, yes, even your own life. And Jesus said, otherwise, you cannot be my disciples. And I mean, for me, this is just heart-wrenching because many times we get to a point where we believe we are where we need to be. We come to that conclusion because of the people that are around us. And we're like what Paul said about the Corinthians. We measure ourselves by ourselves. And so when we measure, and Paul said, when you do that, it's not wise. We can't measure ourselves by ourselves. We have to measure ourselves with Christ Jesus. He's the one who set the standard. And he's telling us, and he also tells us there's no one that will give up home, life, business, family for my sake that will not be rewarded when they go into the kingdom of heaven. Guys, friends, fellow believers, this is where it is. This is the price of being a disciple of God, of Christ. It's one where we give up everything. Nothing is greater than our love and belief in John Harper. I mean, in Christ Jesus. And just to hear about someone who could have been on a rescue boat and sent his daughter when he was a widower to be able to continue to teach people as they were drowning. That's a very high watermark for me. So I want to encourage all of us this morning, as we do things to build our business, as we become great entrepreneurs and we do all of these other things, that we will make the greatest business decision we ever made. And that's one of being a full-time disciple of Christ Jesus. Let's pray. Gracious eternal God in heaven, Father, it's great to see and hear about someone who's not in the biblical reference in your word, to see what they did to sacrifice their life to be able, Father, to win lives of others. Father, let us have that same feeling. Let us have that same goal, that there's nothing on earth that's greater than our love for you. Because the truth of the matter is that when we die, we leave all of the things that we have and we accomplish and acquired, we leave all those behind. And Jesus is not telling us to get rid of any of these things. He's just stating to us that he has to be first. We have to love him greater than we love anyone, anything else in our life. We make him the master of our life and we become his subject. And so, Father, we lift up everyone that's listening this morning. We pray for their ears, Father, to be in a hearing position. And Father, we pray that your word will permeate their hearts. And Father, where all of us can have that time of making a decision to serve you, to witness for you, to love you more than we love anyone else. Father, we lift you up this morning through your Son, Jesus Christ, our Lord and our Savior. Amen.
Thank you, Tom.
Well, have we lost your group?
Thanks, Tom. Yeah, I don't hear anything on my end.
Wow. Well, that's amazing. I guess we're the only survivors that's left, right?
I think Wendy is trying to gather up people or something.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can now.
Okay, they can hear me now. Okay, so now we figured out how to work this. This is like, you know me in technology, we go way back, right? To the Stone Age. I still use a cup and a string. So thank you, Tom. That was incredibly awesome. It always is. We so much appreciate you doing this, folks. I've tried to let everybody in as quickly as I could, so many of you may have missed what we're doing today. We are here live at Dealmaker 2022. I just actually looked up and saw the room, and it's slap full in here. This is awesome. I want to cry. I want to cry. I'm so happy to see everybody here. And what's really cool is most people in the room are on Sonrisers on Fridays anyway. And it's just so awesome to see you all here. Thank you for being here and sharing what you're sharing today. But what we're going to do is Brian, I swear I'm going to get you up, I promise. We're going to talk till about 8 o'clock today. I want people to share what their aha moments were from here so that you can see what you missed on the screen. We want to share a little bit about what we've done here, but at 8 o'clock, Tom Olson and I are going to do masterminds, and we're splitting the room up. But you, as a Sonrisers attendee online, you get to stay online with us as long as we can keep it working, right? And experience the mastermind that we're going to have today. So we're not going to really close out today. This is being recorded, but we'd love to have you hang on as long as you possibly can. So that's awesome. We're really excited about that. So I'm going to go to the right computer, and Brian, I am going to put you on speaker view. How you doing today, buddy?
I'm good, Wendy. How are you?
I'm doing good. There we go.
I'm glad you're able to figure out your technology.
It's not over yet.
I was really keen to hear you this morning and wondering how the rest of the meeting was going to go because you sounded like you were talking definitely in a tin can. Were you able to listen to Barry Habib on Monday? No. All right. Well, Barry Habib joined my company call, and I asked 2 questions. I asked Barry, do you see this Ukraine conflict changing the timeline for a recession or for, mortgage rates to kind of come down probably early next year? And I also asked him if he saw this inventory as being unsustainable, this growth that we're having in inventory. And I asked both questions, but he didn't answer either directly because his presentation answered both questions already. But I asked it when he first got on, not knowing what his presentation was going to be. So I thought I would just kind of share that that I got to listen to Barry Habib on Monday, and he went over current housing data and current market conditions, and he's staying strong in both of his predictions. So his one prediction is that we're going to see the yield curve invert imminently. At the beginning of the year, the yield curve, the 10-year treasury and the 2-year treasury, if you don't know what the yield curve is, it measures the distance between the two. So if you do a 2-year investment, what's your return versus a 10-year investment and what's your return? And historically, every time that yield curve has inverted, every time it made more money to do a short-term investment than a long-term investment, we know the economy is out of whack. And the yield curve as of beginning of this week was down to 0.2% difference. It is imminently going to flip, which almost every single time that happens within 6 to 12 months, we see a recession hit. So we really do think with the current economic data that's out there on inflation, the Fed starting to raise rates, the yield curve about to invert, that we're on the edge of a recession coming, and that would be great for mortgage rates. The downside right now is that the Fed could get spooked because of this Ukraine conflict, and they may not be aggressive enough in raising rates. And if they're not aggressive enough, inflation continues to build. And if inflation continues to build, mortgage rates continue to get worse. So we really hope the Fed has some passion around raising rates, because that would really help out mortgage rates. Until that happens, we're going to keep seeing things getting worse in the mortgage rate realm. And then the other part is inventory. And he was showing us again the chart of 33-year-olds that are getting ready to become first-time home buyers, because the average first-time home buyer is 33. And the amount of inventory that builders have been building for the last 5 years is about half the demand of new households forming. And when you look at a chart, and I'll bring the chart on another day, but if you look at a chart, builders are building nowhere near the level of inventory that we need to sustain household growth for the next few years. So I was starting to, personally get afraid, with predictions of 22% appreciation again this year. That's what Zillow said a couple of weeks ago. How long can we do this? But with the lack of inventory and the severe lack of new construction keeping up, it looks like we're still going to have 3, 5, 8 years of fantastic home values. So I just thought I would share those, because I just got it hot off the press from Barry Habib, who is fantastic. And I'll have a link I'll put on Sonrisers this afternoon of the interview that we did, or the presentation he did for my company. It's on our YouTube channel. So I'll share that to Sonrisers. It's a half an hour, and it's a half hour of pure gold. So if you've got any questions, always feel free to call me. Otherwise, we got to hope the Fed stays strong and starts raising rates aggressively.
Awesome. That was great, Brian. Can y'all hear me on the screen? On the Zoom? Okay. I see.
Loud and clear.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to ask some people, whoever wants to share a little bit. Ken Lacey, you need to get up here because you got to be first. Come and share. You'll have to do it from here, but don't be afraid to get up here and do this, because it's, you're just sharing information. But let's talk a little bit about, number one, how awesome this event is, and what is your big takeaway? Why are you here, and what's your big takeaway? Ken, you can just.
So I had a lot of takeaways, but this is one that resonates with me. Don't compete with anyone other than yourself, but kick your butt every quarter. Who said that? That's Tom Barry.
Yeah, that's awesome. Come on, anybody else? Come on, please. Come on, folks. I knew Allie would do it. Come on, get online and come on up. They're just sharing.
So we've come to this event for a couple years now, and all the speakers that Jim picks show so much humility. And so I appreciate that so much. And, when we all want to be successful, and with that, we have a lot of wins, but we have a lot of losses too. And sometimes Sometimes in our wins, we forget to bring to the table when we're helping other people that we've messed up too. So Tom Berry, I was actually talking to Corey this morning, and he shows so much humility. And every time he talks, I love listening to him because he brings so much confidence to the table, but he's so humble at the same time. He's not scared to say, you know what, this is where I started, and I actually ended up back up here at one point, but I made it, where I am today. So my biggest takeaway from what he was saying, probably not my biggest, but something I really appreciated was him saying, start at the top where, say what you want out of life and then work your way down. That was the takeaway that I'm going to actually work on.
Yeah. Yeah, and I love that. If anybody else wants to come up, please come and get in line. I really appreciate that. One of the things that Brian, I thought you were gonna get up. Come on. So I was, one of the things that Tom Berry talked about that I really liked is he was talking about visualizing where you want to be in 5 years, 10 years, and he said, I want to have a ranch with exotic animals, and he's got the coolest ranch with exotic animals. My son's dying to go there. But he just spoke out what he wanted. It's like doing a vision board, and he and his wife sat down and did that vision board, but they spoke it and they wrote it down. And I thought that was really cool because they are exactly where he wanted to be. And it was just really, really cool to hear him say these things. And now that I know Tom and I know what his lifestyle and what his life is like, he's living it. He's living the dream. And it was just really, really cool the way he did that. Brian?
All right, so I think, 3 years or 3 events in, I think what's really hit with me this time is over-reliance on one source, I think is, something that I really got beat into me personally in this event. And so looking at the diversification of, me not trying to be the jack of all trades, but inside of, I'll speak specifically to Airbnb. I've relied solely on Airbnb for that short-term rental side of the business for 4 years now. And it really just hit me this time, even though people have been saying this now to me for like 3 years, to look at other ways to do it besides just relying on Airbnb, your marketing, your arm, your source of revenue. It really did hit me this time, so that's really what I'm taking away from this, is to start looking at the other channels for bringing.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, Wendy, you were another person who told me to say.
Come on, Ginger. Y'all can come on up and stand in line so we don't have any wait time in between people. Look at all of you rushing the stage.
I really don't like talking in front of people, so y'all can look over there.
Oh, sorry.
Anyway, my big couple of takeaways for me. Number one is the relationships. I love people and I love talking about deals, but I love talking about what you're going through. And since we've been here, I found out there's a couple of people that have cancer. So me and my husband, we put them on our prayer list and we're going to be praying for them. But also the knowledge, just sitting under all these speakers and learning and trying to understand and to grow. And wealth is really important because there's a lot of wicked people that have wealth. And I think it's our responsibility to learn how to be wealthy. Because I want to be wealthy because I want to spread the gospel all around the world. And that is so important to me. So I love being here, and it's important who you surround yourself with. I tell my boys, get involved in church, surround yourself with the right people, because you got to do life with the right people, because people need you when they need you, right? You may be going through a hard time and you need to reach out to the right person. But anyway, I love being here and love building those relationships.
And Ginger, don't walk away. Ken and Ginger are actually on a mission. They're on a mission for God. They're trying to collect 280 wheelchairs, and they're filling up a shipping container to send these wheelchairs to Tanzania is where they've chosen to go, which is special in my heart, and a lot of us. And what's really cool is each wheelchair is $150.
And custom made.
Who can't do that? And if you can't do a whole one, do a half of one with somebody else. Talk just a little minute about that.
So Augie Bylon, if anybody knows Augie in Orlando, he heads up a nonprofit called Chairs of Love. So he's taken wheelchairs to the Philippines and Guatemala and Belize and other places in Mexico and what have you. And so we started donating a wheelchair every month last year. And then we were talking to him more about the logistics and everything. And he said a full container load is 280 wheelchairs. That's $42,000. So we went in and bought 5% of one of these containers, which is 14 wheelchairs. And we said, Augie, we're going to work to fill it up. And he said, well, that'll be great. Y'all can get whoever wants to donate to be part of a distribution trip. So if you want to be part of one of these container loads, you can go on a distribution trip to see the impact, because wheelchairs are immediate impact, life-changing the second you get in a wheelchair. I mean, you go from crawling on your hands and elbows to a well a mile away, and then how do you carry a bucket of water after that? But these are immediate life-changing things that turn people from being just, what do you do, to givers of the community, being able to take care of their families. And we're just excited to be partnering with Augie to do this.
And we decided this year, we want to be intentional. We want to be intentional with God, and we want to help people with their vision. You know how you get so caught up and you're so busy in your job and you forget, you know what, there are people that are hurting. So we want to be intentional, and that's what we're doing this year. We want to help people with their vision and helping others with wheelchairs and Christian Media Internationals and other ones.
Does anybody here know Eddie Wilson?
Yeah.
So Eddie Wilson heads up an organization called Christian Media International. We were at an event for him a couple of weeks ago. And so he gets radio stations and TV stations in third world countries to get the gospel out. This event, I mean, there were people from Syria, Pakistan, and Iraq. And I mean, these are places that would rather hang a Christian in the middle of the streets, and they're preaching the gospel in these places. So I'm not going to go into all the details about that, but it looks like we're coordinating with CMI to get a radio station in Tanzania and have this all work with the wheelchairs and everything else.
So how can they get in touch with you with that thing?
You're the Facebook person.
Facebook, call us, come up. Okay, stop.
But you're going to be posting, and Tom may be posting something
Yeah,
too.
We'll be sending some things out.
We're gonna get online and get in the meeting and put it in the chat.
Okay,
Put
okay.
the information in the chat. So it'll be in the chat room, and then everybody that's here live, you see what they look like. Just walk up to them and ask them how to get in touch with them.
Because it's not necessarily who you in this room, it's who you can tag and let know in your sphere of influence.
Yeah, to get these things. We're trying to get it done by the end of March, folks, so we got a little time.
$42,000 is enough.
That's right. That's right. Awesome, right?
So a couple things, couple takeaways,
Attention up here, y'all.
couple takeaways I took from. The first off was David Phelps when he talked about fractured points.
You gotta be loud.
All right. I don't know. Can you hear now? I'm not sure if this works. This isn't working. This isn't not. All right. Can you hear me? All right. A couple things. So when David Phelps was talking about fractured points and things that you believe because maybe it was your experience, but they're not necessarily true. And I know that I've been guilty of that for sure. Like telling somebody, you've got to do this because this has been my experience. And I think that because I know it all, that all of a sudden I should tell you how you should run your business. And that really hit home to me. And it was something that I know that I need to be better at myself personally. And then second of all, I was just really encouraged with this event. I mean, I go to a lot of different events around the country, and this event is one of those that I kind of feel like there's more believers and there's more people of faith than almost any of the other events that I go to. And I was just really encouraged with that. I feel like we've kind of lived in a little bit of an oppressive regime, if you want to call it that, over the last couple of years. And it's kind of been a little bit, I think, hard for a lot of us to really, if we want to be honest with ourselves, to accept what the new reality is in our life. And I just want to thank everybody for being who you are and for being attracted to somebody like Jim and Wendy in this group. So thank you guys.
Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Chuck, did you want to talk? So isn't this cool seeing the whole bodies of people that you usually just see their face?
Yeah, seeing everybody and seeing everybody in person. I think one of my takeaways has been taken. The takeaway from this morning is don't go after Ginger. That's a hard act to follow. But David Phelps, of course, the takeaway is buy David Phelps' books because you want to hear every word. The second takeaway I had that I'll share is with Mary Hart. She did an incredible job of laying the foundation for the entire 3 days. When she talked about legacy building, folks, we're not here just for us. Always have the why in front of you, your family, not just family, but it reaches further than that, to friends, to church members. You know, you have quite a legacy you're leaving. So keep your head up and keep plugging.
Hey, Mary, would you come up? Oh, come on up. And Mary, I'd love for you to come up too. Yes, 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 that's it.
Okay, one thing that I took away from Daniel Clymer, I think his name is to look at my area differently. So in Jackson, Mississippi, we have several commercial buildings that are just sitting there rotting, literally rotting, because they're not gonna ever be used properly. And so I pass by them every single day. And so it made me look at my area differently of what possibilities those buildings could be, or even the land that they sit on, what the possibilities of that land could be. And I appreciated that, getting my eyes to look at things differently for that land or those buildings.
Awesome, thank you. And we're gonna have Mary kind of talk a little bit about, she was our keynote speaker. And it was awesome. Really fun. Thank you. I was trying to stand in the lane there. Well, first of all, thank you, Jim. It's always, gosh, inviting me. Jim makes me feel like I'm a special person on earth, and I thank God for him every single day. Frankly, so. Well, this event, as you guys heard me say, is the one I really try to make every single time. I think, Jim, I don't know, I've met you after you started this, but I think I've come to everyone but one since we met, or spoken to everyone but one. And I come to some trouble. Yeah, you asked me to speak, you still want me to?
Yeah.
Asked me to speak this time. He said, hey, will you do the first time, last, whenever it was September, will you do the keynote? I've never done a keynote speech in my life. I said, okay, what do you want me to talk about? I can't remember personal development, I remember what you're talking about. Oh, I'm living a well-designed life, that's what it was. So this time he asked me, I said, well, what do you want me to talk about? He said, legacy. I'm like, yeah, another thing I've never spoken about. So I'm glad you guys liked it. It did come from the heart. I just sat down and things started coming out of my head. So thank you. I got so much from everybody else's talk, and there were some talks I was sad that I missed because I was outside and I was enjoying talking to other people. But everybody who speaks here is always amazing, and this is my favorite crowd by far at any event I go to because people are genuine here. I feel like everybody I ever meet with Dealmaker is a genuine person, and I think that's because Jim attracts genuine people. That's right. And you know, all knowledge in the world is great, but if it doesn't come from a genuine place and a genuine person you want to do genuine things with and be authentic, it doesn't mean much to me. So that's why I love Dealmaker. So thank you, Wendy, for putting me on the spot early in the morning. After like 5 Manhattans, people bought me last night. That was not my fault at all. I had nothing to do with that. So folks online, this is where we're kind of calling it quits on the Sonrisers. Thank you, everybody, for being a part of it. We really, really appreciate it. And ladies and gentlemen, would you please stand for the awesome, most incredible man of the town.
We love you, Jim.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my gosh, no, I thought she was gonna lead us like in the Pledge of Allegiance or something.
I could.
Honestly, I'm like, do I remember it? No, just kidding. Yeah, because the last 2 days, you know, we had the national anthem, and yesterday, God Bless America. And so I just figured it was Pledge of Allegiance today. Tom, you've got to come back and watch this video because people were talking about you out here. It was really, really good yesterday, very inspiring to all of us. Just wave your hands. Thank you. People were texting me during that time. I'm just being honest, like it really touched a lot of people. Many people texted. Thank you. So today my vision was to add a half-day mastermind to Dealmaker. We've never done this before. It's not super easy with a really big group to do a mastermind, but all of us speakers have been impacted by masterminds. You break out and you go into like smaller groups, and you work in a really highly interactive atmosphere where you're intentionally made to feel a little bit uncomfortable. Would that be okay with you guys? That's where we grow, right? We grow when we're uncomfortable, just like working out. How many push-ups do you do every day? Chuck. Which is how many? Woo! He's gonna do 75 push-ups on his birthday. I can't do that many. I don't know about the rest of y'all. I've got really bad arthritis like in my wrist, but I could probably find some substitute. Oh my gosh. So to get up to that point, you've got to be uncomfortable, you got to be consistent, and you got to power through it when it hurts, is what I'm thinking. That is amazing. So we're going to be uncomfortable, but then we're going to work on our businesses and we're going to share. Everybody in here has a need. Everybody in here has something to give. I'm 100% sure. You know, I just got my picture with Sean and Seth. I haven't had a picture with you yet. I would love to. But I was in the middle of them, and then Sean, show us your shirt. The Cash Flow King, right? And then Seth's got the 3 pigs from Jeff Watson on his shirt. I had this like moment, like I think my cash flow is going to increase just by this picture with these guys, because I get to hang out with them. I mean, they're really great investors from Ohio, right? And yet they're impacting people all over the country just by being in the room with us. And that's kind of how the network works. You know, you become the average of those 5 people you're hanging out with. And this week, all of our averages went way up. That's why we do this, Wendy. And honestly, I mean, people ask me like, how did we get like this many people? And it's very humbling and it's very mind blowing. Like when we came up for the group picture yesterday, which I need to get that still. Tom, now you got it on a phone, right, Tom? The group picture. Tom, yeah, you got it. You either post it or just send it to me. Yeah. Because like you guys were like overwhelming me because it like we used to fit up here really easy in the same space, and now it's like it's mind blowing. So thank you for coming today. I really my vision is to just take all of the information from the last 2 days and drill it down and figure out what you need to move forward so you can build the life that you want, like Mary was talking about. And Wendy, we want to count off, right?
Yes.
You guys remember being in school when you had to count off 1, 2, 1, 2? So we're going to do that. You may not end up in the same room with your spouse or business partner, but when you get time to show me, that's what they actually want, right? So I'm going to start in the back of the room. Remember your number 1, 2, because we're going to split the 1s to the other room and the 2s are going to stay here, okay? Scott Billings, what are you? Say it. Stand up. When you say your number, stand up. 1, 2, 1, 2, all over. It's pretty binary, it's 1 and 2s. Not 0 and 1. So, Keep it going.
This is where we're at. This is where we're at.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2.
Right here.
2, 2.
Just keep it going, guys.
2. One. Two. 1. 1, 2.
1.
2.
Everybody? Is that it? You want to hear some instructions? Group instructions? Remember your numbers, it's only a 1 or a 2. Ryan Rose. Where's Ryan? Is it a yes or no on that video? Sure, Carl, sure did. Oh, okay, that sounds like a yes. All right.
All right, so quick instruction. So this whole exercise is meant for everybody to get out of their comfort zone. So we purposely split couples. We purposely split business partners. That is the point. So the point is not to just kind of be with your own little crew. If you are a 1, you're going to go over into that room over there, and I'm going to start with you and do my session with you. The 2s are going to stay in here with Wendy. At 10 o'clock, me and Wendy are switching. So you're going to be able to get to do what Wendy gets to do. You're going to be able to get to do what I'm going to do with you guys. But just so you know, just so you're prepared, this is to get you out of your comfort zone. No growth happens unless you get out of your comfort zone. So the instructions right now are the 1s go over there and the 2s stay here. We're going to start in about 15 minutes.
Oh, no. Keep them here for another second.
Sorry, everybody.
Not yet.
Hold on.
Hold on, I got 2 more things. I got 2 things. All right, wait. Stay here. Come on back here. Oh. Can you get them in, Tom? Bring them back in.
Hold up, guys. Hold on.
All right, guys, come back in real quick. Grab your seat. Got 2 more minutes. Sorry. It's in the back of the room. Come back. All right, come back in, guys. All right, I got 2 things. Are you ready? All right, I got 2 things. You gotta watch this video, and then you just got it. I got 1 more thing after that, okay? All right. Let me turn on my volume. You guys ever heard of the red door, guys?
Yes.
All right.
Yay. Hey, Brian.
Right. Yeah, I can't hear it. Sorry. This mic's just not working. So, oh, you want to try it again?
I don't know what that.
There isn't one.
You gotta.
Try it again. All right, hang on. Jeff's gonna try it again. All right, hang on.
Empty houses, foreclosures, bad rental houses, vacant houses, even nice rooms, you just can't keep up with. So when we repairs, we test it all, no replacement cost. So your house as is, like cash offer.
I mean, I can watch it all day.
That's right.
How about that?
I also want the jingle.
So, here's the brains behind this. We've been friends for like we both used to wholesale a lot. That's where we met many years ago. But here you are, you create like this amazing thing. I was telling him earlier, I think you could franchise that or license it to other cities. I told him I wouldn't mind to have this in, he's doing this on the TV and the radio. I wouldn't mind doing it in Florida because it does work, right? So others have tried locally and it didn't work, I do know. You have anything you want to add real quick?
I'm just so happy to be up here, Jim. Thank you. I've got a great business partner that's helped build this brand and it's been successful to us. And the one thing I'm proud about our radio ad, if not time, the 30-second TV ad is my business partner, Greg Butler, who's around here somewhere. We committed over this past Thanksgiving to give back. This has been a common theme of the speakers here, a common theme that Jim is about. And so we decided for every deal that we buy and close on through our marketing, the Red Door guys, we're giving $500 to the Children's Hospital of Richmond.
How much did you give us?
We've only given about 2,500 so far,
That's a lot.
but we have a bunch under contract. It's gonna add up. So two things about that, right? So it's the right thing to give. Children's Hospitals impacted so many people across the country and locally. Greg even has a personal situation in family that they help tremendously. Anybody's been to Children's Hospital, I think a lot of people have the same experience. It does so many great things for kids. But the second beautiful thing about this is while we're advertising, we have so many messages going out on TV and radio every single month. We're getting the brand out for Children's Hospital and they thank us. Not just for our donations, but they're getting more and more donations because of the brand recognition that we're help doing through our real estate. That's true giving and it feels really good. So
That's why I love it. I got two things with Alex really quick. Who has a lot of debt? Like a big rental portfolio with a lot of debt? Anybody? Alex is working on a unique proposition where he pulls investors' debt together and goes to a bank for a massive, like very large 7 or 8 figure refi at a very low rate. And if you're interested,
I have some handouts over here.
okay.
Yeah.
Just grab them on your way.
Thank you so much. So what I've done is, if you look at your debt, your cost of debt, that's about 70. So that's about 50% of your revenue as a rental. Also, if you buy
What?
in your on fixed and flips,
For
and
what?
you're paying
I forgot.
double-digit,
Oh, yes, it
interest
is.
rate,
Right up.
then
Thank
you're leaving like, I don't know, $20,000 or $30,000 to your to your hard money lenders. What I've done is, a few years ago, I put together basically a collective of me and my friends. And what happened is that we were up to $50 million in loans that we gave to the banks, which made me accessible to CEOs and senior credit officers of local community banks in Central Virginia. There's 300 community banks that operate in Virginia. 150 of them focus on Richmond, Virginia. Out of 150 of them, what have we done? So I have an analyst. We put together the Zillow of bank rates, right? And so we basically know what bank has what rates for high quality investors. High quality investor being somebody that owns 10 or more rental homes. Automatically, if you take those to the bank gives you lower interest rates. So what I've done for me and my friends, my average interest rate on my debt is 3.3%. Wow. And then, so my friends are Daniel Clayman, right, that spoke here yesterday, right, you guys know him, Kava Companies, right, that didn't speak here. Those guys basically borrow $30 million a year, right? I'm borrowing $30 million a year. I have 500 homes that I own and operate. So altogether, me and a couple of my friends borrow $100 million a year. So we have enjoyed really low interest rates. I decided, literally, just my New Year's resolution is to say, there's other investors that I'm sure would love to join our collective, because what we're doing is taking the volume to the banks and getting the lowest possible terms. There's some terms that I got Daniel and Khaled that are 2.9% fixed for 10 years, 30-year amortization, right? Those are unheard of terms if you have the properties. We were able to identify and negotiate with at the senior level with the CEOs of the banks to kind of get that debt. If your debt is 75% of all you purchase and you're paying the cost of services 50% rentals, that's where I focus on. And I'm able to, so my cost of debt is about 26% of my rental amount, which is, it saves me close to $1 million a year. It should say, but even if you don't even have to be at that level. If you buy properties with low cost of debt, the difference between 3.5% interest rate and 4.5% or 5% is you could pay 20% more per house at acquisition, right? So when you guys are thinking, oh, why the house is so much higher price? It's because there's some people that are getting lower interest rates and they're actually beating the competition. Me and my friends. Do you guys want to become my friend? My information is over there.
Maybe just ask him to raise your hand and pass it on.
Yeah, does anybody want?
John, come on up real quick. This mic is like that. Oh, there we go. Get over. Hold on really close, John. You almost gotta eat it.
Okay, hey guys. I just wanted to let you know, we're talking a lot about short-term rentals, Airbnbs. Myself and Brian Hall, we do a free monthly event here locally. So let us know if you want to get on that list. But tomorrow, we're doing an Airbnb crawl because we'll have alcohol, kind of like a bar crawl. So we're going to meet at our Airbnb, and then Adam and Amanda have one block away. And then Carlos and Rocio have two. Or I'm sorry, Adam and Amanda have two. Carlos and Rocio have 1 block away. So we're gonna meet at 1. We're gonna have a food truck, drinks at every stop.
This party just keeps going.
It does.
How many of you guys were here last night? Oh my gosh, was it pretty awesome?
Yeah.
How late did that go? It started around 7 or so.
Midnight.
No way, Tom.
It was after midnight. Tom and I shut
All right, one last thing. I
So
gotta.
if they wanna.
Yes.
So,
How do they do it?
so just find Brian Hall, Adam, Amanda, Carlos, Rocio, myself, and we can get you on the list, okay?
Okay, it just keeps going in Dealmaker. All right, last thing. You guys know about the unbelievable situation in Ukraine. Is anybody not aware, right? Alex has been my friend for a long time. Well, not in his death thing here, so I've got to keep myself. I mean, like 15 years. I remember meeting him at like an AT&T store. You remember that? I got a story with all of you guys.
You and Daniel.
But Alex is from Ukraine, and he's got family stuck there that can't get out. And so I just wanted to share. Can you just share like 2 minutes of your story?
Yeah, hit the mic and make it.
Because it's real life. It is, and
I think it's
You gotta keep on it.
just think about it.
Throw it on the ground.
So that's how we used to fix things in Ukraine.
Yeah. So, great. Okay, the Ukrainian way. So it's been about 20 years ago that I came here from Ukraine and left behind my brother, my half brother, my parents were, and left my biological father, right? My mom remarried, and we came here together. My brother is now in the territorial defense forces in Kiev fighting, and my wife's family is all right now in Zhytomyr. So I was born in Zhytomyr, which is 80 miles west of Kiev. So have you guys seen that maternity ward that they bombed in Mariupol? So that's like, I don't know, that's big news. My hospital where I was born, a children's hospital, was bombed last week, no longer in existence, right? I don't know how that, that didn't make the news. There are children's hospitals being bombed in every single, I don't even know why they do it. Russia does it. But, the only thing I could explain is, so Ukraine is not like, I talked to my family, they're angry and they're gonna fight till the end, right? And Russia will absolutely annihilate every single person in Ukraine if they need to do it, because there's no respect for life. Russia, they proved in World War II that they could lose 20% of their population and still be fine, right? Like that's what they did in World War II. Talking about World War II, in 1930s, a country named Germany was disrespected by the world in World War I, and they went on and kept invading countries, right? And you're like, oh, Ukraine is new for Russia. I can't believe Russia did it. Russia already invaded and actually took over 4 countries before Ukraine: Georgia, Moldova, Kazakhstan, and now Ukraine, right? At what point will the world actually start understanding what the fuck is going on here, right? Ukraine when Ukraine falls, they're going on to Moldova, right? And when Moldova falls, they're going to go on to Latvia, right? Let's see. If you guys think that that's not, well, anyway.
Who's your family?
My family is sleeping in bomb shelters right now, right? My family is afraid that they're getting bombed. My brother, I don't know if he's gonna survive. So it's been really tough, right? But I'm not here for sympathy. I'm here to tell you guys, open your eyes what the fuck Russia's doing, right? Because it's like serious, right? All your congressmen, like those MiGs could have really fucking helped, right? Like, but this, and Putin is looking, is like laughing, right? Because it's like, man, this weakness is exactly the thing what he's telling his Johnson, like, hey, this is the West being weak. It's just like in a prison yard. The big guy is beating up the little guy, and everybody else, if they gang up, they could beat up the big guy. But they're like, no, we're not going to give you dessert for lunch. We're not going to do the sanctions thing. Putin doesn't care about these sanctions, right? Like, it just, what we need is weapons and come together. Otherwise, there's going to be World War III, right? And of course, my family's living through World War III already. But if we don't get together, call a congressman, call like, hey, this thing can really blow out.
Thank you. I know that's really hard. It's real life. So this is one organization that Cheryl and I have already given to. It's helping the refugees leaving. Now the men can't leave. I mean, you guys know that, right? Because everyone else coming over needs help as they leave everything, literally everything behind. It's called Convoy of Hope. And I would recommend that you just check it out. And if you feel so led to give, since we're in a giving morning, that you give to this group. They've got a giant warehouse they just leased on the other side of Poland border. They're filling it with supplies and helping people coming over because there is a humanitarian crisis for the people escaping also. Okay, so that is it. You guys remember your numbers? Who was a 1? Raise your hand if you're a 1. Or raise your hand if you're a 2. Yeah.
Sorry guys, one last thing. I didn't think that I didn't think that I was gonna run out of my business cards. For those of you guys that want to email me to talk about Ukraine, how to help Ukraine, or even like that thing, can you guys write down my email? Or I'll give it to Jim so you have it. So it's A Lugovoy, training last name, ALUGOVOY, right? ALUGOVOY at Dobrin, that's my grandfather's last name, GOVRIN, consulting, so dobrinconsulting.com, right?
500 doors.
And it's on the
Is that what you
sheet.
said?
500.
And like when we met at AT&T, how many did you have? 5. Love it. All right, guys, 1's across the hall, 2 stay here. 1's across, 2 stay here.
Are you 1?
Woo!
Oh, you all my friends.
That's
Probably when it works. Awesome. How are you? Let's get this good on you. Everybody needs to come as far forward as they can. Okay, okay. Yeah, you do whatever you want to do. It's all you, baby. Understand that just for a second. Okay. So folks online, if you just want to hang out, can you hear me, Sue? Okay. So you just want to hang out for a minute. We're going to get everybody together. It's kind of like herding cats here. And about 5 minutes, we'll get started. And I'm so glad to see y'all hanging in there.
Here we go, Wendy, got the mic. That works pretty well, Wendy, if you need them to quiet down.
Yeah. I use it with my kids too.
Love it.
I would really like everyone to come as forward as you can. Everybody back to, oh.
You tell me.
Yeah. Come on forward and find a seat. It's okay, you can act like you like each other. Come on, Patty Bang, Taryn. That's right, I called you that. Can y'all hear me in this mic? All right, the reason why I need everybody in a group is because you're gonna bring them into a group anyway. So you might as well, thank you very much, Ashley. She's the bomb. Okay, everybody needs to be in a group because you're gonna get in a group anyway. So you might as well just fight and go on, right? So I'm really, really glad that you all are here today. When Jim asked for me to facilitate a mastermind, I go to masterminds all the time, and I can't tell you that I love one more than the other because they're all so incredible. And I thought back to all of the different things that I could do that really impacted me. So I was able to kind of pull together 3 different things from different masterminds that I want to share with you today. And the purpose of today is really to, as Tom said earlier, we want to get you out of your comfort zone, but we want you to really think, we want you to dig deep. We're going to get granular on where you're going, why you're here. What is it that you want to accomplish in life and why? It's not, we've had a great thing today. It's not about the money. And it's not, Ginger and I were talking yesterday. It's okay to have money. It's okay to be wealthy. But what are you doing with that wealth? How are you using it to change the world and not just your lifestyle? Because that's really, I mean, God didn't put us on this earth to get rich and drive expensive cars. I'm pretty sure that wasn't the point. So what is it that you are really, really wanting to accomplish? The other thing is so many of us are afraid to take that step and to do something outside of our comfort zone. I've been in the lending business for 20 years. I do loans for people that are doing $3 million loans, $5 million loans, $10 million loans. And I look at that and I think, wow, I'm really proud of them. That's awesome. But have I done one myself? Ooh, that's a lot of zeros. And there's a lot of fear in that. There's fear in going into a different niche that you're in. And I really want you to get rid of that fear and understand that fear doesn't come from God, right? Yeah. Fear comes within yourself, and you need to get over yourself. So I'm gonna start off by sharing a story with you that I experienced in a mastermind, and it's called Crossing the Rubicon. Anybody know anything about the Rubicon? It's a river. Oh yeah, one person does. You like history, right? We're going to talk a little bit about Julius Caesar today. A little history lesson. So I hope you like history. But I love this. So, and I hate to read it to you, but I won't remember word for word. I just want you to get the whole gist of it. So on January 10th, 49 BC, General Julius Caesar entered Roman territory by crossing the Rubicon. It was a stream in what is now called northern Italy. In crossing the Rubicon, Caesar began a civil war that signaled the end of the Roman Republic. Rome ruled the world for a long, long time, right? So Julius Caesar was a very popular military and political leader who expanded the borders of the Roman Republic through what are today France, Spain, and the island of Britain. Caesar's popularity and independence created tension between him and other elected officials in Rome. You see, at that time, generals paid their own troops. Did you know that? They paid their own troops. I thought that was kind of cool. Loyalty was huge from the men that worked for him. Each time Caesar and his men conquered a country, they sent all the spoils back to Rome. Of course, the men took a little bit too, but they sent most of the spoils back to Rome. The people of the Roman Empire admired and exalted Caesar in a huge way, as did his soldiers. The Rubicon itself, doesn't it sound like a real big rushing river? It was a creek. It was a shallow river, and it served as a boundary between Rome and all of its provinces. Caesar crossed from a part of Gaul where he had been serving as governor, or they actually called it a council position. It was against the law, I can't read mine right. It was against the law to cross into Roman territory with an army, and Caesar knew this. So he and his men set up a camp on the banks of the Rubicon prior to entering into Rome. The elected officials of Rome were concerned that Caesar's acclaim and popularity would threaten their power. So they sent a messenger to him to come into Rome the next day by noon to stand trial and answer to treason charges. They planted the charges themselves, of course, saying that all the spoils weren't set and that Caesar wasn't really putting Rome in the best interest. Caesar told the messenger that he would give him an answer in the morning, and he invited him to stay for the night. So the next morning, the messenger came to the banks to get Caesar's answer, and he saw that Caesar's camp was all packed up, and he was mounted on his horse alongside his men. I have to have that scene. You got to look at it, right? And here's what he said, and I know you've heard this term. He said, the die has been cast. Heard that term before? Romans were familiar at that time with casting dice as a game of chance. It also could mean that the cast of the mold or the die had been set. So it really means two separate things. The phrase crossing the Rubicon has survived to refer to any individual or group committing itself irrevocably to a risky revolutionary course of action, similar to the modern phrase, passing the point of no return. We can do a song about that too, right? The Civil War that followed lasted 5 years, and it ended with Caesar's name becoming a household word today. Otherwise, he would have just been the general and we would know who he is. But because he made that decision, he went outside the box. He knew he was in the right and he wanted the power. He made that decision to go into Rome. And it changed history, not only for him, but for everybody, because we all know Caesar, right? Everybody's heard who he is. So that's really the thing that I want you to take away today is you've got to make a decision that's going to change your life and make an impact on the world. You've got to get rid of that fear. Okay. I thought that was very interesting. So, what is your purpose? Anybody ever think about that? What's your purpose in life? We've talked about that a lot over the past couple of days of your why. Why are you really here? A purpose statement provides reasons that you exist, the mission about what you do and about for whom you're going to do this. And I gave Gary Harper accolades for this because I stole this right out of one of his slides and the presentation. It was awesome. So there's some examples of what a mission statement is. So Tesla, I love this one. To accelerate the world's transition to sustainable energy. He doesn't just make cars or go to the moon. No, that's not him, that's Musk. TED Talks. How many times have you seen TED Talks? Anybody watch them? I love their simple mission statement to spread ideas. Very simple. LinkedIn, to connect the world's professionals to make them more productive and successful. So when you think of the names of the company and then you look at what their purpose is, it matches, right? Do you have a purpose statement or a mission statement about what you're doing? Just like Tom had his mission, he knew exactly where he was going when he came up with his lifestyle desire. He knew what he was going to do and how he was going to do it. A purpose-driven business. Everybody, how many of you read the book, Purpose-Driven Life, Purpose-Driven Church, Purpose-Driven Everything? They're awesome books. They're really well worth the read. 72% of consumers say that they feel it's more important to buy from companies that reflect their values. Have you noticed the values here at this meeting? You're either going to draw people to you that have the core values that you have, or you're going to repel them. Do you want to do business with people that you're repelling anyway? No. Figure out what your core values are. What is it that you stand for, and then speak it. Be proud of it. Proclaim it. Live it. Show it in what you do every day. It's really important that you make that decision, and not only for you, but for your team members. I can't tell you how many times we have hired people and then allowed them to go on and find other challenges in their life because they didn't match our core values. Sure. They might say it, but their actions didn't show it. They were doing their job great, but it didn't match. It becomes a cancer, actually. Purpose matters to God. 2 Corinthians 9:7. Every man according as he purposes in his heart, so let him give, not grudgingly or of necessity, for God loves a cheerful giver. What are you doing with your business to give back? Ken and Ginger talked earlier this morning about how they're just trying to raise money for wheelchairs at $150 a pop. Gosh, that's biteable. Those are small chunks that Tom was talking about yesterday. It's small chunks, just one little bite at a time, to be able to fill an entire container with 280 wheelchairs. That was how much was the total? $42,000. When you think, oh, I got to raise $42,000, but when you think, I just need $150 a pop. Much more attainable. Great way to look at things. Okay. This is straight from Gary Harper. The true mark of one's life is not the money acquired, the goods gathered, or the investments made. No, the true mark of life is the influence left behind when their time is up. What will live on past your expiration date? What will carry on beyond you? What legacy will you leave? Will your legacy be about you, or will it glorify God? What legacy are you going to leave? You know, when people talk about wanting to invest to leave things for their kids, that's great. And their grandkids, that's great. I totally get that. Is that the legacy that you want to leave? Or is it a legacy that will, you know, they say when you give somebody a hand up, it's different than a hand out. So what kind of legacy do you want to leave? For me, I was looking back in my baby books when my eldest was born, or just about to be born, and I wrote a little prayer saying, asking God to just allow my child to know who he is. That's the legacy that I want to leave. You know, what's the foundation? What are my kids walking around with on the foundation? Because if they have that foundation, I know that everything's going to fall into place for them. One way or another, it's going to fall into place for them. So that's the legacy I want to leave. And do I want to leave money for my kids? Sure. Do I want to leave a bunch of money for my kids? Absolutely not. I want them to work just as hard for what they're getting as I did for what I get. I want them to understand that everything they have is a gift. It's a gift because they work for it, but being allowed to have it in the first place is a gift. Being a good steward of it is a gift. What are they going to do to give back? What are you doing to give back? How many of us are sitting here thinking, you know what, when I get to this point, I'm going to start giving $1,000 a week or $1,000 a month. When I get to this point, I'm going to start doing $500 a week to this certain charity. Why do you have to wait? Why do you have to wait? There's no reason to wait. Start off with $5 right now and watch it grow on its own. You don't have to wait. I was telling a story last night when we were, before we started our meeting after the meeting. And, you know, I survived 2008, barely, but I survived. I had a mortgage company with Larry Goins, and we had to shut that down overnight. And I found myself with a mortgage and debt because I tried to save the company and used my self-directed IRA money and chunked up my credit cards so that I could try and pay my employees and keep them going, because they were all, you know, I was in charge of them. I was foolish because it wasn't me, it was God that was in charge of them, but I took it all on myself, put myself in some crazy debt, ended up selling my house on the lake at the last minute, and got to a point where we were on food stamps. I was on food stamps from 2009 until 2011. I was on Medicaid, and I had been rolling in the dough previous to that. So I was sharing a story last night that what was so cool is during that time, I was homeschooling my kids. I went to seminary and got a degree. I spent more time with my husband, homeschooling my kids. I got to see how they learn and how they grow. And my kids got to watch God show out over and over again. My oldest son had broken his arm. I had just taken him to the doctor to get a cast, because you know, kids don't know that cast costs money. So we're coming back. It's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. I'm starving, and I thought, man, we'd really like to have a Chick-fil-A sandwich. I knew I couldn't afford to. So we went, put my credit card in to actually my debit card in to buy one sandwich, and it wouldn't work. And I was like at the end of my rope. I thought, oh, I can't stand being poor. This sucks. I got into poor. It sucks. And my kids were, my one son was in the car, and I get back on the driveway on the interstate, and my head's just throbbing, and I'm just sad, and I'm mad at God, and I'm just, you know, I just thinking I can't take it anymore. And my son, he's 10, and he says, oh, Mom, don't worry about it. I will take care of it. And I'm looking at him thinking, he's a fool. I pull into my driveway, go to the mailbox, and there's a check in there from the IRS for $14,000. I didn't know it was coming. My CPA, who had been doing my taxes for the past 3 or 4 years, went back 3 or 4 years and redid my taxes, taking into account the changes in the rules that were retroactive. Didn't even tell me that. Here's what's cool, folks. Stuff like that happened all the time. All the time. It just blows my mind that that happened all the time. And they were like, yeah, it's cool. My point is, you need to step out in faith. When you're in fear, know that where it's really coming from. It's inside of you. You've got to have faith that whatever step you're going to take, if your intention is pure, there'll be a stone there for your foot to land on. How many of you have actually stopped and allowed God to be the CEO of your company? How many things do you do that you ask Him for guidance in what you're doing? I mess up all the time. I forget. You know, because I can let Him run my life because I know He's really good at that, but I know business. You ever fall into that? Get direction. So I'm a part of this group called King City Mastermind. We're based out of Charlotte, and it's a local mastermind group. It's a group of real estate-based companies, and our whole point is to keep us accountable to making sure that God is the CEO of our company. And we believe that revival is coming through businesses. There's a war on small business. David mentioned that yesterday with the stuff. There's a war on small business. We've got to fight back. We're the ones that can make a true difference in what's going on with this world. We just have to really have that vision and understand that we need to do this together. So one of the things that we talk about is the gifts that we have. It's the GIFT, it all matches. It's an acronym. I just love these little acronyms. So the first one is generous. Be generous with what you've been entrusted with. How generous are you in what you're earning? What are you doing to give back? Ask yourself that question. Integrity. This is my favorite word in the whole wide world. Integrity is something that nobody can steal from you. It's yours to keep. It's yours to build. It's yours to back up. Integrity cannot be stolen. You can give it away, but it cannot be stolen. When people think about you, do they think that you have integrity? Great words to live by. Faith. I've talked about this before. Seek and trust in his guidance. He really wants you to benefit. He wants you to be successful. He wants you to be wealthy. Jennifer's going, amen. He wants you to be wealthy. He wants you to share your wealth. He not only wants you to be wealthy monetarily. That's good. Okay. All right. That one down again later. He wants you to be wealthy in knowledge. Solomon had wisdom. You know why? He asked for it. He asked for it. Transparency, along with honesty, should be the core of your life. It should be the core of your business. The hardest phone calls I make are things that I have to tell my investors or my borrowers that I don't want to have to tell them. But I know that if I do, they'll accept it without wanting to kill me. But it's the truth. People call me all the time for loans that I have to talk them out of. You know, that's really kind of a stupid idea. I tell people all the time, you know, I don't make money by telling you not to do this deal, right? But you have to be honest with people. You know, how many wholesalers are out there that just put up a price on a house and hide the due diligence? Yeah. They give us a bad name, don't they? And then stewardship, which I think is probably the most important thing. Stewardship, being wise with what you are blessed with. You know, they talked yesterday too about how, I think, was it Lori that asked David the question, how much money should you keep on hand? Especially during this time, how much cash should you keep on hand? I think he said he does 5 months, and he said that most people are doing 3 months. We're doing 6. And is that good stewardship? Yes. You're not storing up stuff in the greenhouses. You're putting that mask on your face first so that you can help others. That was a great example. Okay. This is where we get fun, y'all. So one of the things that I love so much about going to a mastermind, have anybody here been to a mastermind where there's a hot seat? Raise your hand if you've been to one where there's a hot seat. Good. So a lot of people have not. So this is what's really, really cool. All these things we talked about. Transparency. You got that? Faith. You got to trust what you say will not go past your table. Be generous with what you're about to say because you're going to share some things here. So here's what we're going to do. I don't want any more than 6 people at one table. So look around, split up, and everybody's got to be at a table. I don't want any more than 6 people at a table because the timing is everything. So before you split up, listen to this, or if you want to, you can, but don't talk. Okay. I don't want anybody from the same company. I don't want any husbands and wives together, but that should be solved in here already. But no more than 6 people at a table, okay? Everybody go ahead and split up and then we'll talk. Okay. No more than 6 people at a table. Okay. attention here. This is really important, okay? I need one person to kind of be a stenographer at the table, someone that will take notes. I just saw a great volunteer. It's not that hard. Just raise your hand. You don't have to talk about it. Actually, thank you. So, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna try and keep this short. Each person is gonna have 6 minutes to talk, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to talk about your company for a very short minute. And then I want you to think about a challenge that you have. And it can be looking for employees, looking for houses. I've got a client that's a real pain in my patootie. It can be anything that you can think of. Should I do this deal? Whatever you can think of, I want you to share that at the table. I want you to take about 2 minutes to share that issue. Okay, so now we're at 3 minutes, right? So then the last 3 minutes that you have, I want the table, people at the table to ask what's called clarifying questions. You know, this is just like being a counselor. So making sure that I hear you correctly when you're saying this. I want you to ask clarifying questions just to make sure you understand what they're asking. You know, how much money are you actually expected to make off of this deal? How much money do you want to make off of this deal? How much money do you need to make off of this deal to make it work? Clarifying questions, okay? At the same, after everybody's done asking clarifying questions, then you can give advice. But everybody gets to ask a clarifying question. If you don't have a clarifying question to ask, then just skip it and move on to the next person, so that you're not taking up unnecessary time. So in that 6 minutes, you're going to state who you are, say what your problem is, or you can also talk good stuff too. If you have no problem, share a process. Talk about what's working. Okay? After you've done that for that 6 minutes, then you're going to go to the next person. Once everybody, and I'm going to look at the clock, I'm doing the clock, and I'm telling you, Ashley's going to be whistling. I'm going to tell you to move to the next person. Even if you're not done, move to the next person, because everybody should get a chance to talk. Then after we're done, you're not required to, but anybody that wants to share what they've gotten out of it, that would be really great. Or if you have a gift that you can share, that would be great as well. Okay, let me get my clock here, my stopwatch. Sorry, I'm old and it takes a while. Okay, reset. All right, start, go. All right, you're halfway through. One minute. All right, next person.
Okay, 6 minutes is up. Time to get to the experts at option number 3. Yeah. Two minutes left before you change people. 2 minutes.
Awesome. That's exactly right. All right, your 6 minutes is up. Time for the next person. Switch you off. All right, 3 more minutes, you're halfway through.
All right, your 6 minutes is up.
All right, you're halfway through, 3 minutes left. We are done. Stop the chat. All right, we're done. So here's what we're gonna do, folks. First of all, how'd you like that? Watch every single person share at the table. That was awesome. So here's what we're gonna do. I got 5 minutes. And I want someone to share from their table. Anybody? Anybody? I see one. Come on, Brad.
Yeah, I've never actually participated in a mastermind. Awesome, thank you. Holding this, so in our table, it's interesting to see like everyone's at different spots in their lives. Everyone has something that's struggling with. The key takeaway that I learned like for myself is building like a nest egg to have more time. If I have a full-time job, so that was so time. I do both. So one of the recommendations like build a nest egg is jump in, dive in. And then, sorry, the second point I got was, what was the year? Oh, believing in yourself, right? Believe that you can do it. That's a big part of it. So sometimes, like you said, fear is with myself. Everyone here contributed to every little problem that we had. Everyone shares them.
Big difference, won't it? Anybody?
Our table overreaching was time, lack of time, overwhelmed, too much to do, time directly on, nothing to leverage it up to other people. We'll keep turning it up, I gotta post it out. That's really it, that's what it comes out to.
Awesome, thank you for sharing. Anybody else? Come on, there's got to be good stuff.
Yeah, I think this was also the first time that that I personally did a mastermind. There's no greater example than it coming full circle and actually the networking that we get out of it, that we got out of it. I mean, we all had that fear-based mentality, whether it came to B2B experience, scaling, lending, networking, it all was all around networking. It was great, yeah.
Strength in numbers, folks, strength in numbers.
I think the takeaway from our table, and all of us together, is find people who complement your skill set. Whether it be a JV, a mentor, virtual assistant, a partner with a bank or an institution or a private lender or institutional lender, whoever it may be. Real estate agent, find someone who complements your skill set. Something that you're weak in, they're strong in.
Awesome, awesome, that's great. Anybody else? Good, I got 2 hands over here. 2 minutes.
I think our group is a reminder that I know when we get overwhelmed with something, we think we're the only person that are going through that or have been through that. But with this group, I've noticed that a lot of us have gone through similar situations. So I think that's what I can get out of it.
Awesome, awesome. So +1 to all of that. But I think one of the things that we discovered here is that even though we have varying degrees of experience, everyone has something to contribute to the conversation. And I also think that just having an opportunity to have a conversation out loud and get another perspective. It's like when I go into the store, I'm going to pick out the same color and the same outfit every time. So similarly, sitting at this table and having other people to evaluate what I'm thinking about doing and give me a different perspective is really, really helpful because they're giving me ideas that we have. Awesome, awesome. I got 1 minute left. Anybody else want to share something? I'll get something. I'm coming to you.
I think my big takeaway here is there's a lot of power coming together with other people that think like you do. By doing it in a small group, like 6, and being able to share openly let your fear down, opening up to sharing what your challenges are, and being able to be here for other people say it's incredibly valuable. Frank, my name when you do that, where we can back up.
Awesome, awesome. And I'm down to 20 seconds, Alan. Can you do anything in 20 seconds?
Bring it, Alan.
At our table here, we have a lot of different levels of where everybody's at. But I think the biggest thing is taking that next step. So everybody shares, I think, fear, right? And fighting that and knowing that God actually, there's no such thing for fear with fear, So God takes care of all that. So anyways, for us, I think at this table, we can all agree that it's taking that next step, whatever that is for you. So.
Awesome, awesome. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so my next thing is I want to play a video. Anybody hear of Mr. Rogers?
Who's heard of Mr. Rogers?
Okay, let's pray, everybody, okay, pray that it works. Like right here, right? Oh, there we go. Can we biggie size it? Yeah, there we go. Can y'all hear it?
For giving generation upon generation of children confidence in themselves, for being their friend, for telling them again and again and again that they are special, that they have worth. It's my honor on behalf of everyone here and on behalf of millions of children whose mornings you have brightened with
with your kindness. To present you with this lifetime achievement award.
Always a beautiful night in this neighborhood. So many people have helped me to come to this night. Some of you are here, some are far away, some are even in heaven. All of us have special ones who have loved us into being. Would you just take, along with me, 10 seconds to think of the people who have helped you become who you are? Those who have cared about you and wanted what was best for you in life. 10 seconds of silence. I'll watch the time. Whomever you've been thinking about, how pleased they must be to know the difference you feel they've made. You know, they're the kind of people television does well to offer our world. Special thanks to my family and friends, and to my coworkers in public broadcasting, family communications, and this academy for encouraging me, allowing me all these years to be your neighbor. May God be with you.
So, let me get back over to here with my sound. And then get back to my PowerPoint real quick. I guess it's not that quick, is it?
I'll get it.
Okay. That's it. Go.
Just slideshow from
This
there.
next one out. Yep, that'll do it.
I'm gonna put my laptop in before it goes.
It'll pop up. There we go.
It's
So
like they
can you
couldn't
flip
do
it to the next?
Yeah, well.
Okay. So, and I had a microphone around. There we go. It's not working.
It's okay.
I think this one. There we go. That's all I need. Okay. How many of you recognize your soap stars? Nobody's on age, are you? You did, right? Awesome. That speech, like it's famous. It's got to be famous. Everybody, he touched so many people's lives. It's just amazing. So what I thought was really cool about this is that he made that whole room stop and thank people, and you saw tears in their eyes for 10 seconds of who they thought. Did you do the same thing? Did you sit there and think about that? Of who's touched your life, whether it's your parent, a grandparent, a teacher, people you've worked with. It's amazing. When you have gratitude, you develop better relationships and create an abundance mindset. That's one of the things that's so great about our Sonrisers group that we do every Friday morning. There are people that are still online watching this from Sonrisers, that we all operate from abundance, not scarcity. And when you do that, people see that in you. And they want to help you. This is all about helping other people. Who was it that said, Zig Ziglar? I'm looking at Ginger because I know she can help me with this. He talked about if you help other people get what they want, or was that Warren Buffett? If you help people get what they want, you'll have everything you need. Thank you. Obviously, I should have put that in my PowerPoint. I could remember it. So here's what I want to challenge you to do. Because this is a challenge that we were given at a mastermind, and I'm telling you, it changed my world. I don't know what it did to the people that I touched, but it changed my world for sure. Think of 3 things that you are grateful for every day for 21 days. And each morning, I want you to text one person and thank them for whatever it is they've done for you. Even if it's somebody that just bought a house from you. Do that for 21 days and see what happens. But when you wake up in the morning, 3 different things that you're grateful for. Can you do that? I think that you can. I want to thank all of you so much for being here with us. I've got one more thing I want to show you. 2 things that I do to give back. One is called Wednesdays with Wendy. So many people have given to me and taught me throughout my career and continue to do so. I set aside every Wednesday, I do 5 slots every Wednesday to help people, 30-minute mentorship. You're more than welcome to do that. It costs a whopping $0, and I promise you get your money's worth. So if you're interested in doing that, you can text this number. I couldn't, I'm trying to get it on my slide, but it wouldn't let me edit it. So it's 803-653-6868. And in that text, write www. Wednesdays with Wendy. Is that cute? It is 803-653-6868. You can also text that same number, and if you don't do www, you can write in the word SON, Sun, for Sonrisers, if you would like to get on the link to get on our meetings on Fridays. Thank you so much. Y'all have a great day.
Very good for Wendy.
Thank
Amazing
you.
mompreneur. Right?
Yes.
So Tom is about done. So what you can do is stand up.
Stretch.
Stretch.
Go pee-pee.
Where's my daughter? Chris is good at this. All right, and what you want to do is just go to the other room and just stand in the back. Is that okay? And then when they get out of their chairs, grab a chair. That room is like a party room. I don't know what is going on over there. It's like walking into a casino. So have a good time, guys. And I'm gonna get them to come over here.
So everybody's coming back. I've seen you. Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Oh, good. Can you hear me, Sue?
Yeah, you did good.
Okay, so they're switching people, the whole room rather than people, so I'm gonna go ahead and turn it off now.
Okay, are you almost done?
Yeah. Thank you for coming in. Thank you, Tom. And I'll get the recording out too if y'all want to see it.
Sounds good. Thanks for
Thank you,
including
Wendy.
us.
Say that again.
Thanks for including us.
I can't hear you. I'm sorry. It's too loud.
That's okay.
Y'all have a good one. Thanks, Rick. We'll see you guys
Bye-bye.
later.